Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me, see me. My name is Radim. Some of you may know me already. I am the head of support in MERGADO, and today I will speak about the new version of MERGADO Editor, which is called MERGADO 2, and everything you should know about it, how to use it, what are the new features, what are the differences, and how to take advantage of everything it offers. Okay, please, if anyone can just type in chat that you can hear and see clearly, that'd be great. There's a slight few second delay, so feel free to type in the chat, say hello, and make it clear that we can continue. In the meantime, I will just say a few words about MERGADO. MERGADO is a tool for product feed management and feed optimization. It allows you to convert and edit XML, CSV, and other different types of product feeds, review feeds, affiliate feeds, etc. We come from Czech Republic, but we have clients from all over the world. We offer more than 600 integrations, and as a interesting fact, more than 1 billion products are processed through Editor every day. All right, let's continue. We will cover today basically introduction into what is MERGADO 2, what are the key differences between the version 1 and version 2, but we will stick most of the time to MERGADO 2 and all the features. I will explain how to write element path, basically explain what it is, how to use it, because this is the key new feature in MERGADO 2. I will also explain how to work with multi-value elements, what it is, and why you need to learn how to use them. I will also show you how to copy an entire element structure of nested elements. And we will also talk about how to work with product parameters, or attributes, if you will, and how to set shipping rates in MERGADO 2. Okay, with that, let's start. Let me start sharing my screen. Give me a few seconds. Okay, I started sharing my screen. I hope you can see it. It's basically the MERGADO interface, and I have created several projects on which I will show you everything that I just talked about. So the key differences between MERGADO 1 and MERGADO 2 is that MERGADO 1 was storing the information about products in a table. So it was a key-based product structure, which had a lot of limits, especially with nested elements. For example, parameters, shipping rates, or any other elements which have more complicated structure than just a simple element, one element. And for these elements, there was a lot of limits in MERGADO 1, and this changed in MERGADO 2 because MERGADO 2 stores the information from the feed exactly as it is in the feed. So it's a tree-based structure. So if you let's have an example. Let's look at an XML feed, how it looks like. So this is a Google feed, just XML type. And these are the feed elements. And these elements are a simple element containing the product information. Specifically, this element is a title element containing the title of the product. And it's a simple element, but if we look at, for example, this element, the G product detail, which stores, it doesn't store any specific value, but it stores additional elements which are nested inside. And these are attributes. So one attribute name with the name of the attribute of the product, in this case, material, and attribute value, which stores the actual value of the material for this product, which is in this case porcelain. So these are nested elements, and in MERGADO 2, you are basically able to store and work with the information inside these elements much more effectively and much more easily and correctly, basically. I will show you, of course, later on how to do that. So this is the key difference, which might be which might appear quite like light, but it contains a lot of possibilities which you can do with MERGADO, with the features, with the rules, with filtering products, how to correctly filter, how to process very complicated feeds, very feeds with very complicated structure, with a lot of nested elements, because there can be not only one level of nesting, but 2 levels, 3 levels, etc. And such feeds could not be processed in the first version, but MERGADO 2 makes it a lot easier and even possible to work with such feeds. Okay, so this was just an introduction. Basically, currently, if you already are in MERGADO and you have your projects, it may happen that you still have projects which were created in the first version. How to tell the difference between a project created in the MERGADO 1 version and MERGADO 2 version. So MERGADO 1 version is this example. And the difference is that the MERGADO 2 version has this tree emoji, which comes from the tree-based structure of the MERGADO 2. And so this is the key difference. Currently, if you create a new project, it will automatically be created in the MERGADO 2 version, so the new version. So you cannot create a new project which would be in the old version. But currently, you still, if you had the original projects created in MERGADO 1, it's possible. They are still working. It's fine. And just currently, we have started. Recently, we have started converting the original MERGADO 1 projects to MERGADO 2. This is done continuously based on, basically, we are first doing the easiest format. So, for example, the Czech Republic, Google, and continuously we will convert all the original M1 projects into 2. The conversion is automatic and is checked manually by our team. So the conversion should not affect the functioning of the project, of the feed itself, of the campaign. The feed URL will stay the same, of course, and so you don't have to worry. If anything, you'll be notified if the project has been transferred. It's recommended to anyway to check the project, check the feed if there are anything that you would look suspicious. If so, feel free to contact us to let us know. We can look at it together. But as I mentioned, the remodeled projects, the converted projects are checked both by a robot and by hand, by the colleague, by the team. You can also convert the M1 projects manually by yourself if you want to. You can do so in settings of the project under general settings. There are two buttons that allow you to convert to new project, which basically first what it does, it duplicates it creates a duplicate of the project into MERGADO 2. So you will keep the M1 version, it will create a new project in M2 version, and you can check everything if it's okay, if the conversion was successful, if there are any issues, and only then, if you are happy with that, you can delete the duplicate and convert the original M1 project into the M2. Or you can wait for the automatic conversion, of course. Just to notify you, if you convert to a new project, it creates a duplicate. It will create a project with a different feed URL. So the duplicate will have a different feed URL. So it's basically just to test the conversion, not to specifically use it as a final feed. It's better to convert the original one. Right. Okay, so I think we can move to the explaining the key features of the M2. So if I open the project in M2, in MERGADO 2, let me just check if there are any questions. Feel free to ask anything in the chat, or raise a hand and you'll be able to speak with your microphone whenever you want. Okay, so let me switch to an example of an M2 project. What's new? There are new information boxes with links to all the tutorials regarding how to work with MERGADO 2. So everything I will talk about, you can get to and read about it in our tutorials. So the basics of MERGADO, of course, but how to work with elements in MERGADO 2, how to work with element path, how to work with parameters, shipping, etc. So basically, everything that I will talk about, you will find in the information box. You can read about it in more detail. So feel free to consult the tutorials. They are quite densely describing all the different topics. Okay, so what's new? Basically, on the elements page, you can now see new filters, which allow you to define what you see on the elements page. If you want to see input output values visible or hidden. So if I filter only visible, basically these are elements which are exported. So these, in this case, because it's a Google project or integration for Google, we have Google elements which are visible, which are exported. So these are all created by MERGADO. You can see what's new also is that you can sort the elements. So if in any case you need to change the order of elements in the output feed, which is not typical for Google, but for example, if you need to create a project which you will use for import into another project, so you create a CSV project, CSV file basically, then you will need to manage the order of the elements of the columns in the CSV. So you can do that in MERGADO 2 by sorting and basically drag and dropping the different elements. So from top to bottom, the first will be on top, the last will be on the bottom, and then saving the order, and then the new order will be saved and exported after the regeneration of the project. You can also display the different values. For example, let's look at titles. You can this is similar to M1, of course, but what you can do, you can use the element path. Element path. So I will now talk about the element path. Element path basically is the new language which we developed. Basically, it's used to target a specific element, because the elements in the feed, as they are structured in a tree structure. So if you want to target some specific value, let's say the title of the product, in this case of this product, the Science Medicine Cup is the title. So if I want to target the titles, the element path to the titles will be the simple element name. That's it basically. So this is the path to the element G title. So if I type in, this is where you write the element path. So basically here, the element path to the G title is its actual name. When it gets a bit more complicated is for nested elements. So if I want to target, in this case, for example, let's say the tax rate. So tax rate, the values of the tax rate are stored in the G rate element, which is nested in the G tax element. So the element path for the G rate to the path to the G rate element would be different. So let's try to find it. Okay. G rate. Okay, so if I open G rate, so the element path to the G rate element is written as G tags, vertical bar, G rate. So the structure for nested elements is in the element path written as G tags, vertical bar, G rate. You can then continue if there is another nested element inside the G rate. You could continue with typing another element. So this way you basically get nested more and more. It's a similar logic as, for example, if you imagine you're on a PC and you write a path to a file which is saved on your computer. So you have to write basically the path of all the folders in where the file is stored. So this is the same logic for the element path. So the path to an element is written based on all the parent elements of that last element. Okay, so this is the element path. It has even more features how you can use the element path. We will get to it a bit later. So we will add on what we already know about element path step by step to not get you too overwhelmed by the logic of the element path. Okay, so let's look at the multi-value elements. Multi-value elements are, multi-value elements are elements which can appear more than once in the feed. Basically, so it's an element which can have more than one value. Typically, for example, for Google, if I switch to a different project where I have some examples. So for example, in this case, let me just update my my feed so that I can show you. Okay. So where is it? Let me just update it correctly. So multi-value elements are basically elements with the same name but multiple values. Typically for Google, these are elements with additional images. So the additional image, if we look at the Google specification, so Google tells you that if you want to send additional images of a specific product, you can do so in XML feeds by basically mentioning the additional image element multiple times. So typically additional image is a multi-value element because it appears more than once it can appear more than once in the feed typically. Another example of multi-value elements is are, for example, attributes. Attributes also follow the same structure. They can appear more than once in the feed. So let's look at if we have finally the example. No, we have caged. Never mind. Okay, so for example, the multi-value element can be the G product detail. So you see the G product detail is appearing more than once. So it's one for the material, twice for the G attribute volume, etc. It may go on, and you can have unlimited number of attribute names for one product. So it's a multi-value element, and so let's look at how to work with them in in MERGADO. Let's say we want to add the additional image of a product. Let's look at what we have as data. So in this case, for this product, we have only the G-image link. So this is the main image, but we don't have any additional image specified. And we want to add it for these products for this feed. So first, let's look at the elements. If we have the additional image element created, so it's already created, but it doesn't have any values. So we don't have to create it. We just need to fill it with some values. So let's start by creating some rules. So I hit the plus sign for the rules to create a rule which will help me to fill the G additional image element with some value. So in this case, it will be the first value of the additional. So it's not multiple. It will not be multiple. It will be just one value in this case. Image. Because the additional image, it's empty, so I can simply rewrite. So I will use the rewrite rule type in this case for all the products. From the list of elements, I will select the G additional image link, and the new value can be anything. It can be, of course, some text, but this would basically create the same value for all the products. But I can use a value of another element by typing %, and I don't have additional image URLs in my input feed, but as an example, I can use the main images. It's okay, it will be duplicated, but I will fill the G additional image link with the image element values. Okay, hit create. So let's see what happened at this point. If I would apply the rules, it would apply for all the products. For testing, I recommend to test the rule application on one product. It's much faster because if you have tens of thousands of products in your feed, it can take several minutes. So testing and how to do that, testing on one product. If you go to the products page, you select one test product. It can be the first one, or you can find one by searching using the search field. But let's see, we want to test on the first product we see on the products page. And if you find the on the first product, the product tracing tab, you enable the tracing, then you have the possibility to apply the rules only on the traced product. In this case, only the first one. We have one product traced. So yeah, if I hit the start rule application, we will be applying only on that product. So let's see what's happened. What happened? We can look at the report of the rule application. The first rule is the conversion rule, so it creates all the Google elements, so I can skip that one. But the second rule, it's the one that I created. It basically filled the G additional image link with a new value. The value was taken from the image element. We can take a look on the products page. We have the G additional image link, which wasn't here before because it was empty. And we see it has a new value. It was copied from the image element. If I show hidden elements, it will be more visible because it's here, the image element. It's hidden because it's not exported. But basically the value was copied from here into the G additional image link. But Let's say we want to add a second one, the G additional image link on the second position. So for multi-value elements, we talk about position. Each element has its position in the feed. If it appears only once, typically G price, it will appear only once. The position of the G price is always 1. So for simple elements like price, availability, max handling time, whatever title, if they are not nested, they are always the position of such elements is always equal to 1. For multi-value elements, if you have a second element with the same name, then the position will be the first, and the following one will be position 2. So let's create a second position of the G additional image link. Again, I will use a rule for that. I have 2 options. The first option to follow is to use a specific rule, which is called add a value to a multi-value element. This will basically create a new position of element which I defined right here. So I want this rule will help me to create a new position for G additional image link at the next available position. So for example, let's say at this point we have, for all the products, we have a G additional image link for all the products. All the products have exactly 1 additional image link, but it could happen that some products have no additional image link, or some products have already 3 additional images link. So this add a value to a multi-value element rule will create a next available position. The new content can be, again, whatever you need, where you have your additional images stored. Again, I will use as an example the image element, the values of the image element. I will name the rule additional image, second additional image. Let's create it. It's right there, and let's test it by applying to traced items only. Again, only the one product. Whenever it's finished, let's see what happened on our test product. So right now we have 2 additional images for this product. The first one has the position equal to 1. The second one has the position equal to 2. Okay, so let's try using element path to filter products which have element G additional image link on the position 2. Let's try that, because we can do that. So the way to do it is you can filter by the G additional image link. You see that we have some warning because the G additional image link is an element which is on output, because it's a Google element. So it's the one which is in the output feed, not in the input feed, because the input feed is not Google feed. So I need to switch the search to search in the output values. And then the warning has disappeared. And if I use the simple empty, not empty, so if I want to search for not empty values of additional image link. So if I hit search, basically in this case, only 1 product meets the condition. But why? Because currently only the test product has the G additional image link created. So let's try some testing. Let's try the switching of the second rule, and let's add the additional images to all the products. So I will now apply not to only the traced ones, but to all products. This will add the additional image to all the products because the rule is set for all products. So I will apply it to all products. Then the same condition that I just did, additional image link on output is not empty, will now search and find me 3 products, because right now all the products have the G additional image link. But because I disabled the second rule, the G additional image link on the second position has disappeared. Okay, so if I enable it again and apply the traced items only, this will add the additional image, the second additional image to the first product. Let's test it. Let's see, the first product has 2 additional images. The second product has only 1 additional image because the rule application was applied only on the first product. So now we have some testing ground. So let's see if I can filter products which currently have 2 additional images. How to do that? I can use the position of the element, and so let's see, I will use the additional image link on output. The condition will be not empty, but this search would result in all the products, because if I don't specify the position that I'm searching in, the condition will be met also by this product. So currently this is not finished. So I want to specify the element path because I want to target specifically the second position of the G additional image link. So I want to target this value. If this value is empty or not empty. How to do it? I can use a condition in the element path. The conditions in element path are written in these brackets. So you need to add space to the element, and inside the brackets you add 2 spaces, and then use the special attribute, which is called position, and it's written with 2 add signs, and a position in capital. So this special attribute, which is specifically written in this way, allows you to target a specific position of a multi-value element. So if I write that I want to search for G additional image link on a position which is equal to 2, and it's not empty, this is how I would write it. If I switch to the simple view of the search, so how I identified, how I written the query is that the G additional image link space brackets special attribute position is equal to 2, ending the brackets is not empty. So this is the MQL version of the not empty condition. So let's see, searching, and now only 1 product was found, because currently only 1 product has the G additional image link on the second position. So this is perfect for searching for products using values of multi-value elements. Currently, I understand it might look a bit more complicated, but basically once you get used to it, used to the language, it will be used in the same way, in the same logic. I recommend testing it, and we will, of course, I will of course show you more examples of the different conditions, how you can specify the query inside the condition so that you can target really those products that you need to edit with the rule. Let me just switch to the chat. If there are any questions in the chat, I don't see any. Feel free to type in again any question you might have. Okay, so that was an example how to add a multi-value element using the add value to a multi-value element rule. There is a second way how to do it. You don't have to specifically use the add value to a multi-value element rule type. You can actually use just a simple rewrite rule. The difference is that because this rule can also create a new position to some element, but it will basically disregard if an element has already that position filled in or empty or not empty. So it will, if there is a value already on that position, it will basically override it. So this you can use if you have, let's say you have only all the products have only the first position filled in, as we had in the first example with the additional images for all the products on the first position, and then we will be adding the second position. So let's try adding the third position for all the products. Using the rewrite rule. Let's set the rule for all the products. The element will be, again, additional image link, and the value will be image. In this case, because it's a rewrite rule, I have to specify which position I'm basically overwriting. Because if I would not specify the position, I would rewrite all the position that I have currently for this element. If this was a simple element with one position, I would rewrite the first one. If I currently have two positions of additional, so there are two additional images, I would rewrite both of them. So I need to specify which position I want to rewrite or overwrite. Again, I will use the brackets to specify, basically, using the condition, I will specify the position that I target. And in this case, because I want to add a third position, I will target the third position, which is currently empty. So I will be creating a third position of the G additional image link, and I will fill it with the new content, which is the image element, again, in this case. Okay, let's test it on the first product. Let's see what happens. Let's look at the products page to see the result. And you can see that the new rule added the third position for the G additional image link. So this is the second option, how to add a value to a multi-value element. So let's say you have additional images and you want to remove the second one. So you want to remove it. How you would do it? Let's say I don't have these rules and the three additional images were already imported from the input, and I need to overwrite the current values, and I want to remove the second position. So how I would do it, I would use the rewrite rule, for example, remove second image for all the products. I will target the additional image link because I want to remove, I will leave the new content empty, which will overwrite the whatever value is in the additional image link with empty values. And I will target the second position. So what I'm saying, I want to remove, so I'm rewriting the additional image link on the second position with no value, so I will leave it empty. So I create this rule as an example. And again, I will test on the one product because this is the last rule, it's okay because the rules are applied from top to bottom. So first, the second and third additional images will be created, and then the last one should remove the second position. Let's apply again for a quick test. Okay, finished. Let's look at the products page. And you see that we currently, the second position was removed, and we have only the first one and the third one. Because let's see if we would have, no, we wouldn't. So you see, also using the condition and position, you can target not only to create a multi-value, but again to also to remove a value of a multi-value element, if you need to do so. Okay. So this was an example of how to work with multi-value elements. Now let's look at attributes. I will explain what attributes are in terms of XML feed, because we can mix it with attributes when we speak of Google XML feeds, because Google Feed actually talks about not about elements but attributes. So for example, the additional image link for Google is not element, but it's an attribute. But in generally speaking, for XML feeds, these are elements, and attributes are slightly different thing. Attribute in an XML feed is basically an extension of an element, extension in terms of a parameter for an element, or a more additional information for some element. Typical example, it's not typical for Google Feeds, but typical example can be, for example, a Polish s.r.o feed. If I open it, a typical example of an attribute is the s.r.o feed, where you have elements, for example, cat for category, name for product name, but then you have element which is called simply O. That's all that is for the element name. O stands for offer, and the ID is attribute of that element. So basically, it's not enclosed in these sharp brackets, but it's inside the O element, because this is everything. This is all the O element, which is starting here and ending here. And the attributes are basically extending the O by giving it additional information. the attribute called ID has a value of 8. So this offer has ID of 8. Typically, normally, XML feeds have these attributes used or mentioned as individual elements. So you would have ID element nested under the offer element, but it's valid to have it as an attribute which is mentioned inside. So MERGADO 2 allows you to work also with attributes. In this case, on the elements page, attributes are mentioned with the one @ sign. So it's a regular attribute with one @ sign, and that's how you identify an attribute in MERGADO Editor. So you see this is an element with sharp brackets, and this is the attribute because it's an @ sign. You can also create attributes. For example, you see that images can have a nested element with the nested element main, which has an attribute of URL. How it looks like in the where is it? Images. There are no images. No, there should be some images. Where is it? Here it is. So the images element has the main element nested inside, and the main element has an attribute which is called URL, and the attribute URL has a value of the actual URL. So in MERGADO, you can use attribute. You can work with attributes as well. And how to work with them? You need to specify them with the one @ sign. So let's try it on the products page. What was it? URL. So I would be searching. I would type the element path by typing images /main /attribute URL. The @ sign will not be exported, of course. So the @ sign is not inside. It's not exported inside the feed, but it's just to identify that the URL is an attribute. It's not an element. So all these, starting with the @ sign, are attributes. Okay. So that's it for attributes, I think. I'm not sure if I have some example. I don't think so. So you can basically see that you can search by using the attributes which are nested in, which are mentioned in the feed. You can also create an attribute if you need to on the elements page. I'm not sure if you can see it, but if you create a new element, you can define if you want to create element or if you want to create a special attribute. And then it depends under which attribute you nest it. In this case, because this is the first level, it would be nested in the O element, so the offer element, which is not mentioned here. So typically the same like the ID. If you would want to nest an attribute under, for example, description, you can do so by the plus sign on the right for that element, which will create an attribute. For the desk, for example, we would create a lang attribute, which would define that the description is written in the English, Polish, Czech language, whatever. So this is how you create attributes. Okay, what we have next? Next, we have parameters. I think we can have a short break at this point, after which we will move to how to work with parameters and how to set shipping rates using MERGADO 2 and element path. And I will show you more examples of working with parameters, because parameters are a great example of nested elements, multi-value elements, and also parameters. We have a specific rule that allows you to, because you work with parameters, product parameters quite often. Mostly for Google, you need to set the parameters correctly for different products. You need to add new parameters. You need to remove some parameters. You need to basically set them correctly. So we will talk about this after a short break. So we will see each other in, let's say, 6 minutes. 6 minutes, it's okay. So right now it's 10:56. So 2 minutes after 11 Central European time, we will look at. We'll continue. Okay, we are back after a short break. Hope it was sufficient for you. Let's start again. And as I mentioned before, we will talk about product parameters, how to correctly set them using MERGADO tool, and how to work with them. Let me share my screen. Perfect. Hopefully you can see. So let's go to our test project and let's look at what values we have for our products. So currently, MERGADO copied the parameters from the input feed and set them for Google into the gProduct detail, attribute name, attribute value, which are the elements for product parameters or attributes, attribute names, product details as per Google specification. So this was done by the conversion of the feed itself. But let's say we want to add a new parameter, which for example, we imported from external file, or we created the parameter, we extracted it from the description or from the title. Let's say the parameter is stored inside the title. Okay, so to add a new parameter, it's very easy to do so using a specific rule type. The rule type for that is called set product parameters, and it allows you to manage the parameter. So not only to add new ones, but to change their values, or also remove some unwanted parameters. So let's say we want to add the parameter which would be extracted from the title, where we have information about the theme of the product. So let's name the new parameter theme, and the values of the parameter will be extracted from the title. So G title, I will use it like this. So let's see. I will apply the rules to all the products, and let's see what happens. It should take a few seconds, and what happened is that we added a new parameter. So in Google terms, gProduct detail, attribute name, theme, and attribute value is extracted from the G title. So it's copied basically. It's the same value. Let's say I want to change the name of this attribute, of this parameter. So I will create a new rule, and there are several ways how to do it, but typically, for example, so let's rename it rename theme parameter. I will use the find and replace rule type. Queries again all the products. Elements will be, in this case, product detail and gProduct detail, and I will be targeting the attribute name because so let's use slow way. So I would add bar sign, and then I will use the attribute name. So I'll be searching for a specific name of an attribute, of a parameter inside this element path. I could use a more specific, I could specify the element path using a condition. I could specify that I want to search, I will search for some values based on position or based on, for example, I can use not only the position, but I can specify the condition using the actual element names. So this is how I could is equal to theme. But of course, this doesn't make much sense because the find and replace rule is searching can search through all the attribute names, so I don't have to really target. But this is an example how I could make the element path more specific and target really only the products that have attribute name which is equal, the attribute name is equal to theme. So this is how I can specify the condition. I don't have to go the attribute name, but I can use, for example, the attribute value as well. Anyway, this is just an example, and in this case, the find and replace rule is fine just like this. So I can search in all the attributes, attribute names. So let's say I want to rename the attribute name theme to, for example, topic. Okay, let's test it on one product, on the first one, to make it more faster, and hopefully the replication is done. Yes, perfect. So now the attribute name was changed from theme to topic. Let's say I want to change the attribute value because I copied basically the title of the product, and the product is called because it's a cup, and the theme is inside of the title, but I don't want the word cup in the attribute value. So I can again use a similar rule to remove cup from parameter. I will use the find and replace rule again. For all products, element will be again G attribute name. I can target, just for fun, I can target only, sorry, my bad, not attribute name, but attribute value. And I will target only G attribute name that is equal to topic. Okay, so I will be searching for the word cup inside the attribute value for such attribute which is called topic in my case. So I made it really specific, this condition, this search, and I can even use regular expressions. Just for fun, let's use regular expression and also remove the space before the cup, because if I would just remove the cup, there will be space left inside the attribute value. So I will use this this regular expression to remove also the space. So let's see, and let's apply to all products, and let's see what happens. So I would be removing the cap from the parameter. I applied it to all the products, but I specified the condition to meet only I made it for all the products. Yes, so for all the products, the cap was removed. So you see that the word cap disappeared from the attribute value for the attribute name is equal to topic. I could for fun, I could change the rule, the condition, and make the condition even more complicated, because you can specify the condition inside the brackets really specifically, and you can actually have more conditions inside the brackets, and you then connect the condition by connecting operators, which is either and or. So and or. So and stands for that both conditions have to be met, or stands for at least one condition has to be met to meet the condition. So in my case, I will leave the and condition, and I can use the G attribute value contains mini. Okay, so right now I'm basically searching, removing the cap word from the G attribute value for such products that have attribute name equal to topic, and at the same time G attribute value contains mini. So contains basically is it's one of the conditions you can use, for example, like equal, is bigger than, is less than, or is greater than, like this, is greater than or equal to for numbers, contains, or other operators and conditions. So let's test it. Let's see what happened. Let's see. So I will apply to all the rules, but I am limiting the rule to be applied only for specifics. I have some warning. Okay. I have some warning which warns me that okay, attribute value. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, the rule worked because the mini word is there. But for this product, I have a warning that this product, this attribute value doesn't contain the mini word, which basically excludes it from the condition which I specified in the rule, so that the cap word is not removed. So the rule now worked for the first product, but it didn't work for the second product and the third product. Yes, so for the second product also the word was not removed, but for the first product it was removed. So you see that you can you can really use the condition to target one specific product and edit the value for this specific product. The warnings are okay. You can basically, it just tells you, hey, you're applying the rule on all the products, but for this product, the element path was didn't find any value, didn't meet the condition. So maybe you want to specify the query of the rule. So I would, what I could do, I could specify the query that I'm using inside the rule, which currently is for all the products, and I could change it to more specific and target really this one product, and then I would not get the warnings. This product, even though I'm applying the rule on this product, it didn't meet the condition, and the rule was not applied on this product, could not be applied. So this basically, I can either disregard or I can fix it by specifying the query of the rule. Okay, so this was adding and editing the parameters, and now let's see how to remove a parameter. Again, I would use to remove, as I mentioned, I can use the set product parameters. I can either use the same rule because it's already there, so I can change it to set product set parameters, and this will be adding a new parameter, and the second row I can use to remove some parameter. Let's say I want to remove the volume parameter from my feed. And how to remove it? Basically, on the left side, you specify the name of the parameter or the attribute, and on the right, you leave it empty. This will remove the attribute. So let's apply it and test it. It's finished. Let's look at the result. So you see that for the product that we applied the rules on, the volume attribute disappeared, or the volume parameter disappeared. Here it's still showing because we apply the rule only on this product. If we applied all the rules, of course, it would disappear also here. So this is how you remove some parameter which you already have and you want to get rid of it. Now let's look at how to copy the whole structure. Let's say you have in Google Feed, you have some parameters stored in a custom. The input feed is a custom feed, it has a custom format, and the converter doesn't convert correctly the parameters, so you need to do it manually. This is not my case, so to show you how to do it, I will create a new element with a complicated structure, and I will copy the attribute or the parameters from the product detail into the new structure. So first, let me create my new structure. I will name it information parameters. Will be the parent element. Then, to make it more complicated, I will copy it. I will have another element which will be the information parameter, and then I will only then I will have the parameter name and parameter value. You see, I'm using the plus sign on the right to create nested elements inside the parent elements. So if I want to add a value nested inside the information parameter element, I'm not clicking the plus sign on for the name element, but for the information parameter element. This will create a sibling element for the name element, which would be called value, and will be nested. The value element is nested inside the information parameter. So these two are siblings. This is the parent element, and this is the actual parent element for all the information parameter elements. Right. So what I want to do, I want to copy all the product details that I have available, which are right here. Where is it? Product detail. Right here. So all the product details into the information parameters right here. Of course, you can do it by multiple rules, by rewriting one by one, but there is a more efficient way because MERGADO 2 has a specific feature for that, and you can use only one rule to do it. So copy an entire structure. The rule type I would use it is bulk copy values. You know this rule, it's simple, basically copying elements from the source elements to the target elements. You can copy elements like any way you want, of course, but to copy the entire structure of nested elements like G product detail, G attribute name, and G attribute value, you need to first specify the on the first row the parent element. In this case, as a source element will be the product detail. This is our source parent element, and target parent element will be information parameters slash information parameter. This is the actual parent element because this is the master parent element, we can say, but we need to copy it inside the information parameter, which has the children of value and name. So this will actually trigger the structure copying. And on the next row, I will specify the actual G product detail attribute name will be inside the information parameter name, and the attribute value will be copied into the information parameters, information parameter value. This is a way how to copy the entire structure. The order is important because the first one need to be the parent one that triggers the MERGADO 2 will understand, okay, we want to copy the whole structure, all the attributes copied at the same time, all the product details copied at the same time into the information parameter. Let's test it on one product and see what happens after rule application. So the desired result is that all the product details will be copied into the information parameters. Let's see on the products page what happened. So right now we have still the original product details. This is okay, but now we have the new information parameters. In even more complicated structure with a master parent element, information parameter, and all the name and values that were copied from the product detail for this product. So this is how you copy the whole structure. If you want, you can read more about it on the bulk copy rule. You have the link. So if you create a new rule and you select the rule type bulk copy values, you have a link to tutorial how to copy entire structures. So it will describe basically everything that I just did in more detail and with some more examples, so you can test it even further. Perfect. So this was copying the structures, and now I can show you how to add a multi-value element, another multi-value element which is nested. Normally you can do it for parameters. It's easy because you can use the set product parameters rule to add a new parameter. Easily left you define the parameter name, and right you define the parameter values, and it will create a whole new parameter in the output feed. But if you want to add, for example, a new information parameter, which is not typical parameter, not typical multi-value element for Google, but you need to for some reason, you cannot use the set product parameters because that rule only works with, in case of Google format, Google project, it only works with G product detail elements. But you can do so. It's a bit more complicated. You need more rules, but it's also doable. So for that, we will create a set of 3 rules. I will have, because I already have an example created. So the set of rules, and I will show you step by step on this project. So let's say we want to add a new information parameter with for example, the height of the product. So I will create the first rule, the 1 of 3, to add a new information parameter called height. It will be, the rule type will be add a value to a multi-value element, again for all the products, and the element will be, I need to add a new multi-value element, which is, in this case, the information parameter is the multi-value element under which we will create the name and the value. New content, I will leave it empty because the new content will be the children element, which I will specify in the following rules. So in this case, I leave the new content empty. So this is the first step. Second step is to define the information parameter name, which will be done in a new rule. The rule type will be rewriting rule. Let me just check if there are any questions in the chat. I don't see any. It's okay. Perfect. So the second rule will be a rewriting rule type. Query, the rule will be applied on all the products. The element that I want to edit is the information parameter name, but I need to specify it, because if I would rewrite this way, I would rewrite all the name elements that I have. Let's open it on the second tab. I would rewrite all the name elements that I already have, but I want to target a new one, which currently is empty. So I can use basically a simple condition, to specify it, to target really the name element, this one, only for the information parameter for which the name element is still empty. So this is a condition which means name is empty, and only for that element we will create a new content. So this allows us to easily target only the elements, the name element which is empty, and the new content will be height, of course. Yes, height. Okay. So this was the second step. At this point, let's see what we have. Let's try and apply the rules and see. Sorry, I misclicked. Let's apply the rules and see at what point are we standing. So we have the first rule which we created, with which we created a new position of the information parameters, and the second rule with which we filled in the name of that new information parameter. And you see that right now we have a new information parameter created on the new position. So this is the new information parameter. This was created by the first rule, and the second rule created the name element for the empty information parameter /name, and fill it with the value height. Perfect. And now the last step is to, okay, this is interesting. So we have two of them currently. And now let's fill it with the value, So we'll create a third rule. So the step 3 of 3. Now we can use a different rule. We can use either rewrite, of course, by we would specify the condition this way, for which a value is equal. At this point, we already have the, sorry, not the value, but the name. So the information value element, we want to fill in the value element, but it's only such value element for which the sibling under information parameter called name is equal to height. So we could put a new value. The height could be one given value. Let's go with that. It's easy. It's not complicated too much. So apply to trace items and see what the result will be. Let's see on the products page. So we have the new information parameter. Interesting is that we have it twice. I'm not sure why at this point, but we could fix it easily. Okay. Yeah, because I'm probably copying the entire structure. Anyway, so you see that we managed to fill in the value of the for the height information parameter. So this way you can go step by step by creating new information parameter, which is a multi-value element because it's present multiple times. And the values are not actually a value, but the values are a nested element with a name and value. And what we did, we create a new element, called it the height, by specifying the condition that at the point of rule application, at the point of rule application, I see. Copy entire structure. At the point of rule application, it was empty. So the condition that we used was that the name was empty, fill it with the value height. And then the last rule we used to specify that for the height element, for the element name with the value height, fill the value element with 12 centimeters. Perfect. Okay. And I think the last topic will be how to work with shipping rates. Shipping rates, I think you already know. You can use the typical set shipping rates rule. Set shipping rates for all the products, which allows you to define the carriers. The specialty of this rule is that it's a select box, so it allows you to fill in only the pre-selected carriers. So for example, DHL, FedEx, I don't know, some GLS are typical ones, or PPL, UPS, and then you define the prices for the advance payment and the prices for the cash on delivery. So this is how you would do 120, for example. 130 and 130, 150 example. Okay, this is how you set carriers. Again, let's apply the trace items only. Let's look at the result. And now we have the G shipping element, which wasn't there before, with the 4 carriers, which I defined by the rule, DHL, FedEx, GLS, UPS, with the price, with the prices for, okay. If you have a carrier which is not mentioned in the list of the rule, because you cannot add your own delivery company, which is not in the list currently. You cannot edit there because it's a select box. If you need to, because I know this is the limit of this rule, and we are working on adding the possibility of adding your own carrier, which is not on the list. You can do so by basically defining any random one from the list, just like I did. And then with the second rule, you can basically rename the carrier which you're not using to a carrier which you are using. So you can basically, let's say you're not using UPS, but you randomly selected it from the list, and then you can use a rule to rename it. So as an example, rename UPS. I can use the rewrite or find and replace rule, which is the easiest way, I think. Element will be G service, and I would find UPS and change it to any other carrier of your choice, and that way you will switch the carrier inside the feed. But you have to use a second rule to do that. The prices are, so the price you set in the set shipping rates, you select a random carrier, and then your second rule you replace it with a different one. So if I find the UPS is no longer there, but it was replaced by the test carrier. So then you can have any carrier you need for your shipping. The same logic applies to removing some carriers. So you will remove it using the set shipping rates rule, or if you're removing the one which is not on the list and you have it in your feed, for example, from the input feed, basically what you do, you rewrite the three values by an empty value. That's how you would remove a carrier which you don't want. How to do the procedure would be that first which one you want. Let's say we want to remove the test carrier, or let's say GLS as an example. So what I can do, I need because I need to use the G service, the carrier name, to specify the correct element path, the correct condition in the element path to remove the G country and G price. So I would first remove the country, then the second rule to remove the G price of the GLS, and in the last step I would remove the GLS by specifying the G service equal to GLS. It's only important is to keep the order of the rules and have the G service as the last one to remove the first one, the second one, this country and price, and in the first place. Right, let me check if there are any questions. Perfect, we have first questions from the chat. So the question is regarding the shipping, and the first question is that the currency was set to CZK, so Czech crowns, was preset. So basically the currency is connected with the format you select for your project, because we have in this case my test project was selected for Google in Czech Republic, all the rules will then fill the currency and the country as well for the shipping will fill in for Czech Republic. If you would select Google Shopping Poland, you would get Polish currency and Polish Czech Polish country code of Poland. If you would select Google for any other country, then the currency and country code would follow that format. So when you, of course, if there is some issue and you still have not correct currency or country code, you can easily fix it by using a find and replace rule basically copy the gshipping gprice element path and use it in a find and replace rule and search for Czech crown and remove it with the currency you need. The same with the G country. You can find and replace this country code by any other country code. But if you want it predefined, you need to select the right format for the country you're targeting, and then MERGADO will follow that format, fill all the right currencies and right country codes. Hope it's clear. If not, feel free to ask further or I think it's clear. It's pretty straightforward. Right. We have last 10 minutes. I can now go and show you some more examples of element path, more tricks, how to copy some element path. We have a follow-up question for the currency regarding the shipping rates. So again, I will repeat, if you want to set the right currency for the shipping rates, if you select Google for Germany, you will have the currency for the shipping rate set by the shipping rule in euros. It's easy. Let's see. For example, if we have I have a Polish project, so I don't have the currencies because Senior doesn't have the currency. Anyway, I'm not sure if it has the set shipping rates rule available. In this case, not, because Senior doesn't have set shipping. But we can create a new project, no problem. And let's see. I will show you that the right output format will follow the output format. So the input format, in this case, my case is MERGADO XML output format. Let's see in Google, and if I'm let's see, I will choose the Google Purchase for Poland as an example. Finish. It should be really quick to show you, and you will see that the set shipping rates rule will follow the currency. Also, the currency in the gprice element will follow the currency of the output format. But of course, we can change it if needed, because, for example, the custom format can be different on the input. So you can change. So you see that the country code in gprice is PLN. If I would set a shipping rates rule, shipping rates rule. Oh, you see. So for Poland, we don't have a set shipping rates rule.
because they don't have the predefined carriers. Yeah, but you see that the country code is followed by the format. It's still, if you want to change it, it's no problem. As I mentioned, so we can, in this case, I'm in the Czech Google format. So I have in the shipping, I have the country code and the currency CZK. I can switch it to change currency. I will use the find and replace rule for all products in the element G shipping, G price, because I copied it before, but it's no problem to define the right one by typing, and you see G shipping and the G price element, and I will look for and replace it with euros. And let's test it. And see what the result is. And you see the currency changed from euros, from Czech crowns to euros. The same thing I can do with the country. The same thing I can do in the G price element with the currency. So find and replace rule is the ideal rule to do this, to customize it if you need to. Hope this helped. This answered the question. Okay, I'm thinking what I can. If you have any question, feel free to ask further. I think it's the best in this case. In the meantime, I can show you how you can use the element path. I didn't show you another special attribute, the same one as the position one. So let's see on the products page. We can specify on output the G additional, detail, G product detail. G product detail attribute name. Or value. Okay. So let's see. We want to target products with values containing music, cups, medicine, cup, or okay, so let's try products with G attribute value. Let's try this way. I have 4 minutes, so I have to be quick. We can target available products. Now let's target porcelain, right? So G attribute value is porcelain, and at the same time, G attribute G product detail, where we have it. Name. I want to show you another special attribute, which is called value, which basically contains the value of the target element. Value is not empty, for example. Yeah, I don't have a prepared example, so didn't manage to prepare one. Anyway, we'll be cut off very soon. So I will have to drop out. So I will stop sharing, and I wanted to thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, it's the last chance to ask one. If not, thank you for your attention, for your questions, for hopefully it was clear. If you still have any question or something is not clear, feel free to contact us at MERGADO at mergado.com, and or feel free to follow our forum, visit our forum.mergado.com. Also, it's possible to